Hello and welcome to
Wow.
a podcast where we, Devin, Leary,
And Angelica Pasquini.
watch and discuss Couples Therapy Season 5. Before every episode, we want to let you know we are both in love with this show and its masterful observations on the human condition, love, companionship, and life itself.
Yep.
We are friends, humorous, and highly therapized individuals who are never punching down or making fun of the brave souls who open their relationships to be filmed in this legendary series. That being said, we are comedians and we are going off because this show is our Super Bowl. Thank you.
Thank you.
And today we're discussing episodes 5 and 6, season 5.
Of Couples Therapy.
And finally, things are popping off a little bit.
Wow. They really said, let's go off to the races with these two episodes. Wow.
Wow. I'm not surprised by any of it, but wow. So let's start with episode 5, Chris and Sienna.
Shark and Sienna.
Shark and Sienna. So she was upset because when we first see them, he's wearing his little blue tunic. I can't. my internalized misogyny is like so triggered by him.
Yeah.
But he is doing this. She's annoyed at him because he fell asleep when they were supposed to have sex, which is like such a cardinal sin.
Yes.
But it's also like totally understandable that when there's so much pressure to have sex, one collapses and falls asleep.
Totally.
But he fell asleep. She's pissed. And he's doing this cop-out thing that really bothers me of like, I suck and she deserves better and like you deserve, and I just can't with that.
He said, I'm just some schmuck with mommy issues and a trust fund that ran out. And Sienna goes, shh. And then she clips like Dorinda. Clip.
She's like, don't say that. Don't say that about she's like, don't say that about my friend.
When people do that, it's like, I'm the friend. Stop. Like,
don't talk about my friend that way. And I'm like, okay, well, whose friend? And then Sienna opens up about being bullied.
Oh, that was crazy. She had a hard upbringing. I want to say one thing really quick, going back to the sex thing. I'm going to tell you something. I could never be on the show, no amount of money, but especially bringing up people who go on here and talk about getting rejected sexually. That's really next level.
It seems to be like a running theme because it is such a thing in relationships. It's like a constant, like one person wants it more than the other, one person, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's wild and it's vulnerable. Although I will say when she was talking about being bullied, I felt like there's something much deeper than that. Like even when she was talking about being bullied, that sounded awful and really hard. But I was like, there's something even below that I feel like she's not quite getting to. Like, I feel like she's comfortable on the surface level and he's comfortable on like the darkest edges of like everything. Yeah.
And he gets to be that one. And she's kind of like, there's no room for her to have a problem.
I mean, when we get to episode 6.
Yeah.
I had a really tough time.
Me too.
All right, but let's not get there yet.
Okay. So mommy daddy time, they called it. Sex. He fell asleep before sex. Sienna's expectations were really important. He said, I want to supply her with what she wants. Oh, and by the way, guess what? Orna got on my nerves these two episodes.
Really?
Sorry. I think that she missed the mark here when she said that Sienna is so big to him and her expectations are so big. And that's like his mom. I'm like, her expectations weren't that crazy to want to have sex, you know?
That's not crazy.
She's not asking for a lot. And I think Orna, this whole episode, I felt like we were learning the backgrounds of everyone and she was making a lot of connections between parent and now. And I get that's her job. But in this instance, I was like, I don't agree. There were a couple things she did that I didn't agree, but this was the first one.
Okay. And should we take a moment to talk about her I don't think so, honey, or no?
Yeah.
Orna, this is going to come out later than when it happened, but Orna was on Las Culturistas podcast and Ange texted me, I'm shocked by Orna's I don't think so, honey. I was like really scared what it could be. And when I saw it, it's really bad.
It was really, I'll be honest, it puts me in a position where I'm like, I don't know if I really believe him, trust you.
I agree.
It was really wrong.
So I don't think so, honey, was, I don't think so when people yell at me for having my dog unleashed in the street or wherever I want to have my dog unleashed. Like, she's talking about her dog is unleashed and her dog runs into someone's property behind a house and then comes back. And then a guy yells at her and says, aren't you going to clean up after your dog? And Orna's takeaway is like, why is that guy so angry? Like, he clearly has issues.
Leash your anger, she says.
And it's so enraging to me because of this, which is, okay, well, first of all, it's this vibe. I am such an animal person. As Ange said, I'm a dogologist. I love my cats so much. I hold them like babies, whatever. But animals are not children. Animals are not children. And when people view them that way, it deeply disturbs me because I'm like, there's something off between your relationship to humans if you feel like your dog can do whatever it wants in a society. Like, kids can't even do whatever they want. Kids can't run into, if I have a kid, I'm not letting them run into some stranger's backyard and run back and run free and whatever. Like, it's weird. First of all, that. Second of all, and she kept being like, oh, because look at this cute little angel. Like, the dog is so cute. Like, who would have a problem with it? I'll tell you who has a problem with it. My parents have a special needs dog that is really afraid of other dogs. When I walk him by their house on the street, people will have an unleashed dog. And then the dog runs toward us and they're like, my dog's friendly. And I'm like, okay, my dog's not. So if your dog runs at him, he might bite him because he gets really scared. It's like, that's fine if that works for you, but we're on public property. Mm-hmm. So you have to actually be a citizen among public property. And it's weird. Also, I'm like, wait, so did your dog shit in the person's house and she didn't clean it up? And then she was mad that someone said she shouldn't do that?
I can't believe she revealed that detail.
And she was saying it as if it was going to be as common as like, I don't think so, honey, when someone steals your parking spot. It's like,
totally. I want to shout out Bo and Yang for being very reserved during it. You could tell that he was like, this isn't. I
felt like both of them in the video I saw were like, oh, like,
they both did, but Matt tried. Someone has to respond. They both did great. But I was like, wow, good job. Like, Bowen was kind of like, I'm not.
And it feeds into like the dog being in the therapy sessions. It's like, well, what if I get for you like having your dog at work? What about the other people who come into your workspace? My
nephew is allergic to dogs. That you can't have them off leash. But also just in general, everybody knows. Listen,
people have trauma with dogs.
Oh, yeah. People. And also, guess what? People like me just don't prefer for a dog to run up to them. It's just not what I'm in the mood for all the time. Especially.
It's also the dogs that run up. It's always the vibe of the owner who's like, and how I know he's so cute. And you're like, people do this with kids too, where like the kid is running up and like stomping on like your breakfast and they're like, oh, that's little Jimmy. Sorry. And you're like, okay, what? Like, it makes me not want to react. If I'm like in an elevator with someone and they're like looking down at their dog, like, yeah, it makes me not want to even look at the dog and act like it's nothing. Cause I'm like,
it's too much.
I don't want to satisfy your weird urge for me to be like, you did really good having a cute dog.
And Orna really has that urge. You can tell. She
has that.
And she called the crying baby noise pollution during that. She was saying if a kid is crying, there's all noise pollution.
Yes.
She said that's noise pollution. And my dog is just walking around so lovey and sweet, just looking about. It's like, who cares about your dog? She's too much with the dog.
She's too much with the dog. And let me tell you this, the dog's going to die at some point.
That's life.
Are you going to survive? Like, are you going to survive that?
I think that Orna's relationship to her dog is revealing some underlying issues that she has, and they really came forward.
And she's projecting like that it's other people's issues. It's like, I think you have a problem where you don't want to be in a society with rules. Okay.
So we disagreed with that.
So Shay and Clinton. Oh, I have Jason and Marjorie. Marjorie is better at listening now. Jason's dad is a fake ass.
Yeah.
Jason is weird about her mom because the mom didn't unbuckle her seatbelt. He wants to protect his son from being hurt by her mom because his dad was fake.
Yeah. Shay and Clinton and then Drea and Nessa and then Marge and Jason, but I'm down to go to Marge and go back. We can go back.
My notes are like confusing. Okay, let's go back.
Literally. Do you want to just go to Marge and Jason because you opened it up and I have thoughts about this too?
Yeah, okay.
Marge.
Let's go to them.
And then
let's go to my girl Marge, my beloved Marge.
I wrote, so he's saying, call your grandma Lois because she's not even grandma.
This is him talking to his child.
Yeah. Well, listen, I love that you and I are like this with them because guess what? I wrote heart, Jason Hart, Orna missed the mark. He is right.
Well, in a sense, I mean, I just find him so funny how upfront and blatant he is. He's like, yeah, I say call your grandma Lois because she's not really your grandma. She doesn't care about you.
Well,
we all have like that experience with a grandparent that was like harmful to the parents, and therefore your parents want to protect you from the grandparent. But I've never heard it put so blatantly.
He said she's ice cold, bro.
But I kind of didn't understand what was so bad about her not unbuckling her seatbelt when the kid came to hug her.
She's mean, the grandma.
Totally.
I was getting a vibe that she's not loving or warm, and I don't like that Marge was defending her. And I thought the grandma was
mom, though.
I know, but she's not being nice to the kid. And Marge said it's because Grandma Lois doesn't like Jason and is taking it out. And she's like, so that's why she does it. And it's like, but that's not right.
That's not right. You're right. You're right.
She never said, she's defending her mom, but she never says like, oh, she doesn't do that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Yeah. It started, I think, in episode 5, she was like, I'm so happy because we're like having sex again. And I'm like listening. And she was like, but I get annoyed because he did this thing about unbuckling and whatever. And then it blows up even more in episode 6. Yes. But I guess we should wait for that. But it's just Jason is taking a lot of authority with her relationship with her mom, when I feel like if she wants her mom to be a part of her life, no matter his feelings about her mom, he should make an effort to like facilitate that. Unless the mom is actively like endangering the kid or it's really bad. To me, I'm like, well, it's important to her for her mom to have a relationship with her son. Is it really okay to go against that if she's not putting the kid like in danger?
I think that Orna told him, she said, Jason, your own problems of feeling abandonment as a kid from your dad is what you're like putting onto your son. This is your own trigger.
Yes.
And I thought that was wrong because maybe I have the same trigger because I don't know my dad's family.
Okay.
So I think that could totally be it. But guess what? I am who I am. I'm going to carry that into my life. And when I see someone being ignoring towards kids or dismissive towards them, it bothers me like it bothers Jason. I'm like, why don't you just not come pick him up if you're going to be cold to him the whole time? Do you know what I mean? No one made you come here.
I see what you're saying. If I actually had to witness someone being cold to my kid, I can't imagine. Like, I'm sure I would be like, oh, I never want this to happen again.
Right, because it's harmful. Although it's not maybe physically abusive, it's still like completely unnecessary.
And you could argue that Marge is bringing her trauma into it by being like, no, they need to have a relationship, even if it's like not good for him.
Totally. I thought Orna was crossing wires where they don't need to be crossed because someone has to defend that kid. Someone has to be ride or die for that kid and say, she's ice cold, bro.
Yeah, like, and there's something to acknowledging the reality, like, because when you're a kid, there's all these adults doing the weirdest shit this way and that. And you're just like, oh, I guess this is normal behavior. There's something to having an adult be like, that is not normal. That person's off and it has nothing to do with you.
Yes.
Like, that's actually deeply valuable now that you make me think about it.
And he said, I took him fishing and I told him, you don't have to call her grandma, call her Lois. Match her fucking energy.
Yeah.
And I think that's an empowering, beautiful moment. It's an activity. It's not like you just said it in passing. You took him out, you're teaching him a skill, had a conversation. I think that was really good parenting. And I think that Marge was off and I think Orna was off. But that's just how
you've actually evangelized me. So
I'm with
Jason. Okay, Shay and Clinton.
Oh God. Well,
this. So I wrote, there is a pattern this whole season of someone who was abandoned in their youth staying in a partnership they're so unhappy in because they are so afraid of being alone because of their abandonment. Because you have that with Shay and Clinton. Clearly, Shay was abandoned by her parents because she came out as queer and her parents disowned her basically and said horrible, abusive things to her. And then you have that with Nessa and Drea. It's very similar. Nessa has childhood wounds of being abandoned by people for being who she truly is. So they're both seem to be staying in these kind of like miserable dynamics because they would I wouldn't say Nessa and Drea is miserable, but they're both staying in dynamics they don't seem to want to be in because they're really afraid of the alternative, which is reigniting their abandonment wound.
Exactly. I think that Shay, I wrote, poor, homeless, abandoned. Shay is brave. Going home, doing drag at home, being like, I don't care.
Yeah.
This is who I am. Clinton tries to make a point that Shay is encroaching. Okay. Oh, encroaching on acting like her mom. All right. Long story short, Clinton's like, you know what? You act like your mom when you tell me not to do stuff.
This enraged me, but also,
what did you think about that?
When I was more upset that she's opening up about this trauma and he immediately inserts with a problem instead of just listening and giving space for the fact that, like, one thing I'll say about Orna is I learn a lot from her in terms of watching her hear people's trauma and give space and be like, that's terrible. I'm really sorry. Listening. How did that make you feel? Like, do you feel comfortable talking about it more? Because I struggle with wanting to fix someone's pain when they're telling me something upsetting. I want to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And like, that should have never happened. And like, oh my God, you're so strong. You're so whatever. Instead of just being like, wow. And so I learned from Orna in that sense. And Orna's trying to do that. And Clinton like interrupts and is like, well, you're kind of like your mom. And like, imagine what my struggle was. Like, I found out about my diagnosis. My whole childhood was different. It's like, it's not the time for that right now.
No.
Like Shay, and you can see Shay like basically dissociate and just be like, yeah, like you can see that she's just like, okay, so I just shared the most vulnerable thing possible and you're making it about you, which is also a pattern of the men in this season of like, okay, someone else is trying to take space and be vulnerable and you're like, but my thing.
Completely. I think my takeaway too from these two episodes is I think that Clinton's not a nice person. I think he's not a good person. I think has bad judgment calls. And I think that the connections that he makes are he's not seeing Shay through eyes of love and compassion and understanding. He's like, that's like, what can I get? How can I prove my point? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but I will say I felt like, I do feel like he's a good person and he loves her. I feel like he does love her. He just doesn't know how to express. He's nowhere near being capable of the kind of partnership she's ready for. He's not a partner to her. He loves her as a person, but that's really not enough. Like, I feel like he cares about her and he wants the best for her. And it hurts him when he is hurting her, but he can't stop hurting her because he's at a time in his life right now where he like needs so much validation and reassurance and he needs so much attention for the thing that he's going through. Like going through something like what he's going through, I can imagine. It's like he's in a really self-centered place where he's like going back like, oh, now this from my childhood is different. Like, okay, take the space for that. You're being harmful because you're like staying in a relationship while doing that.
And doing bad things. And we'll talk about for the next episode. He's not ethically aligned
with being
he gets
a
big long rope and he still finds ways to hurt her. And I'm just like, I don't really think you understand the impact that you're having on this 100%. Person. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with that.
But I see your point too. I know he's in a very difficult patch in life, but there has to be some consequences for his actions. And I bet you Shay came to Orna because it's like, what can I say when and how when he's in this specific situation? Imagine being in love with that person at that time in their life. That's hard.
Well, I know that I don't know if it can be compared, but I know that like when I started my therapy journey, like I started going to therapy, being annoying when I started my therapy journey. But when I started going to therapy and I started realizing stuff about my childhood, I became really annoying for a while and like really self-centered because everything was like, oh, and today I realized when I was in 6th grade and this happened and that happened, that was actually not my fault. That was actually someone else's fault and like whatever. And turning everything into like, oh my God, it's so interesting you bring that up because actually when I'm in my therapy journey and it was like, I was annoying and I give all my friends who stayed my friends through that so much credit and nobody was staying my boyfriend through that because fair.
Yeah. I get what you mean. I had that phase too.
I don't know if it's
there's two kinds of people though, like people who never leave that phase. I mean, I'm not even relating this to Clinton because I don't know what phase he'll go into. But in general, like once you
people who never leave.
Yeah, you open up that box of realizing the connections, like Kylie Jenner says, realizing things. The year of realizing things.
When did she say that?
I don't remember what year it was. Let's say it was 2023 or something. But they were like, so what are your resolutions this year? And she was like, this is the year of realizing things.
That's so funny.
But you know when you have a year of realizing things?
Yes, I've had that. And it's like,
me too.
Really? Was that necessary? Like, what did I do? Make collages?
Literally, and cry and process.
Cry and post the collages on Instagram. Horrifying.
Love that.
It's like a picture of me as a baby and it says like, inner turmoil. And I'm posting that, like, and I'm texting that to my ex-boyfriend being like, hey, like, hope you're having a good weekend. And I'm thinking he's going to see that and be like, you know what? Like, let's He's like, okay, psycho.
Yeah, everyone goes through that phase, man.
But Clinton.
Some people never leave it.
The problem with Clinton is when he's confronted, he will not take accountability and be like, yeah.
Well, there was in the next episode when he gets caught in something where he goes, let me see the phone. And then and then he's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, so that was so funny, but we have to wait to get to that.
Drea and Nessa. So Nessa comes back from a Caribbean festival. And then they're horny for each other because
they had separation.
But then Drea is like, Listen, Drea needs a life. They're realizing it. It's kind. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on her? She has no life. She doesn't know how to do anything.
The one thing I wrote down that I felt important.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wrote Drea's mom did everything for her but love her. Like she explains that her mom like cleaned her room and did her laundry and did all this stuff, but would never say I love you. So it's like to Drea, just being there and like doing things means love, and what Nessa is asking for is essentially to be able to like do things separately, and that can be an act of love, is like going off and doing your own thing for a night and coming back, like you said, with something to bring to the table, like a conversation. Yeah. Drea did say, which made me laugh, that it makes her teeth hurt to admit that Nessa is right.
That was funny.
Because I was like, I feel that, where I'm like, yeah, I guess you were right.
Yeah.
So I felt that.
I get that. I don't know. Maybe this chapter won't be forever for me, but I'm in a place in life where for some reason, I don't care if I'm at work, creative work, with my boyfriend, I'm like, yeah, my bad. I shouldn't have said that. I literally don't care. I don't know what's going on. I don't care. I'll forgive, forget, move on.
I feel like I'm like that with everyone but my fiance, where I still, for some reason, need to be like.
Right. No, I get that. And I do need to make sure I'm hurt. I'll talk ad nauseum with Devin. I do. But if I did something wrong or no, like if I did something that makes him feel bad, I'm like literally like, oh, I'm sorry that I did that. Like I don't need to be right with him. I don't know, or anyone. I'm just like, okay. It's actually relaxing.
I know it is, and it's like what, and then you move on so much quicker, and you're just like, oh, that never even needed to be a thing. I listened to I'm pretty sure it was an episode of We Can Do Hard Things with Glennon Doyle, when Glennon was talking about her dynamic with Abby and some fight they got into. And Glennon said, like, the most important thing is to remember that your partner is not your enemy. Like, I go to this fight or fight place where I'm like, you're my enemy. You think I'm wrong. Therefore, you think I'm worthless. Therefore, I have to prove myself to you, and I will, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like to remember, like, oh, no, he loves me and we live together and we have a life together. Like, we want to get to the same place. So why can't I just admit that I didn't know where the blender was and you did?
Right. No, totally. And that it literally doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter at all. So,
I have no idea how it. Oh, no, I do know. Honestly, when my mom got sick, I stopped caring about petty things. I think that happens, you know, when you're like, okay.
That doesn't matter.
I don't care.
There's so much
I don't need to be right.
On.
I mean, Dr. Phil always says, do you want to be right or you want to be happy?
Does he say that? Because he has come up for me twice recently, which is I was watching Love Has Won, the cult documentary where the woman drank the silver. I watched it.
Oh, I loved that.
I saw it a while ago, and then Julia told me she rewatched it. I was like, I need to rewatch. I need to rejoin these crazy girls, Aurora and Hope, and these girls that are like silver, feeding her silver.
Drinking
they were on Dr. Phil, and because her family went on Dr. Phil to try to intervene with Amy, and Amy comes on the Zoom with Dr. Phil, totally blue, and she's like, hi, yes, I'm good. And her mom's like, Amy, we just want you to come home. And she's like, that's very nice. Thank you.
Oh my God.
She's like, I'm not moving. And then what was the other? Oh, and then I was watching some Max documentary, like The Many Lives of Benjamin something. And it was like this guy who's said that he woke up with amnesia from an attack and he doesn't know anything about his life, but they're slowly pulling apart like this doesn't make sense. And then this Dr. Phil producer just came in. I haven't finished the doc. And he's like, and so then we decided to have Benjamin Kyle. He's like, then we decided to have Benjamin Kyle on Dr. Phil. And I'm like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, the hit him with the amnesia.
They were
that's like The Crash. Have you seen The Crash?
Oh,
Mackenzie,
shit.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She says she doesn't remember either.
That when
Honey.
she came up with that bun in prison.
Yeah, that bun. She remembers.
She remembers. Okay. Episode 6. Let me say one thing.
We getting into it now.
Let me say one thing about episode 6. So Shay is confronting Clinton about violating the rules of their open relationship. As Shay is explaining the like discretion that happened, Clinton keeps trying to interrupt her and Orna's like, no, wait, Clinton. And then as Shay is speaking, Clinton is going, what? I'm going to have something to say about that. 1 second, because I'm going to have something to say about that. And I was like, I actually so deeply relate to that, where you're like, because I actually have been in couples therapy in a relationship before. And I so relate to being like, okay, but just wait till you hear my side. Because that's not actually what happened. And that's whatever. But as you said, when it got to his turn to say his side, the receipts were not in his favor.
They were not. He wanted monogamy. Then cut to him, his phone going off all night. Clinton cheated in an open relationship.
Somehow.
That's rich.
That's rich. Via Discord.
Shay gave him, like I said, this long rope. Do whatever you want. And he finds ways to disrespect her ass.
Yes. And it was like, you know, it mirrors a little bit with Sienna and Chris, where Sienna was like, you could have told me you wanted this cuddling thing. Like, you could have been open with me and I would have understood. But like, there's something about wanting to lie, wanting to hide stuff. And then there's something about not being able to just admit that right away and instead arguing about, and Orna said, don't argue about facts, talk about what matters to you. I wish Clinton could have explained, why was it so important to you to lie about this? Or why was it so...
That's a great question.
Why is it so hard for you to admit, like, yeah, you got something out of lying about this stuff?
Because I don't know if he's emotionally aware enough to understand what the redheaded Dr. Virginia Goldner, who also needs to have a brand deal with a gel company. And her hair's sopping gel wet at all times. It's sopping wet,
but also she needs her own show too.
She does.
That I would watch.
She pointed out about him when Orna's talking to her about Discord. Do you remember that part?
Orna, do you know what Discord is? I wrote red hair. Yes and no. So iconic.
Gel head.
Jelly. Yes and no.
Jelly basically says he needs a place to be an expert. That's why he's on Discord, because everywhere else he's flopping. And I was like, that makes sense.
No, that's so true. And it reminds me of from last week, or maybe it's from this week. I can't remember. Where this thing of like Nessa either has to be like the villain or the hero. Like Nessa, I don't know if she expressed it or Drea expressed it, but Nessa definitely agreed with it, that like she got off on like being the older, more experienced queer person to Drea, showing her all these things, traveling
Aladdin,
with her.
I could show you the world.
Aladdin, I could show you the world. Or she can be the victim of being like, yeah, I guess I'm fucking up right now. I guess you better leave because I'm fucking up. And it's like, there's no in between. Yeah. Clinton, I don't think he wants to at all be like, yeah, I'm fucking up, because he's unwilling to admit that. But there's something, he's in these discords about like having autism, but he's ending up connecting with women who are transitioning. And then Shay is saying, oh, like you were getting nude photos. And he's like, no, they were just like finally trying on clothes in their new body for the first time. And I was supporting them.
Clinton.
It's like likely story.
Bill Clinton,
likely story.
He's a lying ass, okay?
Yeah.
Well, Discord group, he said he had 2 girlfriends in the group. And he was exposing Shay's life and the details of Shay's life. What did you think about that? That was insane.
Thank you for reminding me that. That was the worst. That was the worst betrayal to me that I can imagine. I can
imagine it, can't you?
I can imagine it, but it's heinous.
Horrible.
To imagine that your current partner is using details that you have exposed about one of the most difficult, vulnerable things you've ever been through to flirt with women. Like, I understand your journey because I know a little something about.
Let me look emotionally available and smart while I use my girlfriend's trauma
as leverage.
Flirt with women about how deep I am. Do you know how disturbing that is?
That's actually so disturbing. I can't believe I didn't write down a note about that. I must have been so gobsmacked.
Yeah, you were gobbed.
I was like, I was in my apartment like, and then I woke up again when Nessa and Drea came on the screen.
I could see I bet you that happens a lot. Men pulling from things women say to flirt with other women.
Yes.
Know what I mean? Like acting deep when they're not.
They're like, oh, I totally understand sobriety because I dated a girl who blacked out all the time.
Literally.
Okay. So Nessa and Drea, I have. Oh, this is my wow. So maybe I'll save this.
I really want to quickly say, Shay said, I have fed you emotionally and physically, and this is what you bring to my table. How smart is that? It's like Taylor Swift lyrics, like something you would like. I'm pissed off that I gave you all that youth for free type shit.
Yes.
Like, fuck you.
This is when Drea is coming on her journey of like being the one in the power position, like the one that's like ready to let go, move on. And this is when Nessa is going to start to like hold back on tight because Drea is starting to realize. I felt like Drea and Sienna are getting closer to like really seeing their own worth in these episodes.
Yes, because they're differentiating, which is what they say they have to do. Because Virginia Gel Curl, she says, this was so smart, this line.
Okay.
They separate out of hurt, not desire to be apart. How smart was that?
That's a really important thing to remember.
If you're fighting with someone and you feel hurt, so you're like, get away from me. That's different than being like, oh, I don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
And I think that people can conflate them.
Well, yeah, I think, yeah.
That was deep, right?
I think I'm in like my healthiest relationship. I know I'm in my healthiest relationship I've ever been in. And I feel like we both really enjoy and respect having time apart. We also live together, so that's a huge part of it. Like, I feel like we're both like, I'm getting the night to myself to do my own thing in the apartment. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
And not like, oh, where are you going? Like in previous relationships, I've been the one like, so where are you going? Like, so why? Because you don't want to hang out. Like, and I know it's such an unattractive quality, but that's been me.
No, totally. I'm obsessed with my own autonomy. I'm obsessed with someone else having a life.
Someone else having a life. Someone else, like you said, having something to bring home and talk about.
Right. I tend to attract people with a little less, in my history, like a little less going on than me. And I'm like, I'll talk to you when I can talk to you.
Yeah.
But that's a classic, right? There's always one that's a little more.
I feel like it switches on and off too. Like,
right.
I feel like I've been unemployed for the past 3 months. So Eli gets home and I'm like, so what did you do today?
Yes.
And then I feel like there's been times where I've been super busy with like the podcast or with my short. And I'm like, I don't even have time to tell you what happened. And I don't even have time for a hug. Like,
babe, I need to smoke this thing, get on my Harley, take a ride.
Take a ride.
But wait, okay, yeah, Drea, when Orna says, what would you like to do with your time, Drea? Like if you had a night to yourself, she's like, learn how to make pasta.
That was amazing.
That's what you say when you're making up a hobby. I want to learn how to make pasta. Liar. She didn't know what she wants to do.
Read, write, learn how to make pasta. I was like, that's the last thing I would do on my own time. Be more in the kitchen.
That was, really. Make
more in the kitchen.
She was making it up. She has never thought about what she can do because she doesn't know what she can do.
And she said when Nessa leaves, she kind of just like shuts down, turns off.
I love a good zone out though, like that when you're just looking out the window doing nothing.
I wish I could zone out better. I wish I could just be like silent better. I'm always like, wait, let me have this podcast on, that on, this
I'm
on.
addicted to zoning out. I never watch TV. It's actually crazy. I know. I'm not saying it in a way like I don't watch TV. Like I don't know what I do.
No, I need TV on 24/7. That's like Eli puts music on, I put TV on.
Yeah.
And I just have it on Survivor in the background.
I, like in my relationship, like when we first started dating, like Devin would have music on loud while cooking, or like I'm in the shower and there's loud music. And I was like, you have to understand something. I need it to be, I need quiet in my house. You need
quiet.
I work in a loud restaurant. I go to shows that are loud. I love to talk. I'm from a loud family. I like to eat in silence. I need quiet in my house. I'm quiet girl.
I have friends like that.
So random.
No, but I think that's like really important to know about yourself so you can just say it.
And he totally gets it.
And a lot of these people on this show, they wouldn't say that. They would just sit there and stew with the music on, be like,
no, literally. Well, there's something about me is I'm not suffering.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
That's fair.
Life's too hard already.
Okay. So let's talk about Marjorie and Jason in episode 6.
Okay, wait. I thought I have Chris and Santa. What happened in episode 6 with their asses?
So that was when they had come in the week before and Marjorie's like, we're doing really well. We had sex. Then the next week, Marjorie comes in and says, I've never been so angry at him in my life. This is the maddest I've ever been, because Jason called without talking to Marjorie about it, removed their son from the school that's an hour away that he didn't want the son to go to, and then sent an email to Marjorie's mom telling her, because I guess she pays for the school, like he's not going to that school anymore.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
Marjorie's older daughter lives with her mom. Not sure what's going on there. Marjorie pulls out, this is truly like plot of a sitcom episode move, calls her daughter, tells her daughter to delete the email off of the mom's phone, iPad, computer, and block the email so that she'll never see that happened. And that was successfully done, which I was blown away. Like,
that is sitcom.
You know, there was a Gilmore Girls episode where Luke and Lorelai broke up. Spoiler. And then Lorelai left an embarrassing voicemail on his phone. And then she broke into his house to take the cassette out of the phone voicemail thing. And then he caught her. Like, I was thinking of this.
Yes.
But this was successful. They deleted and blocked before she could see. And Jason is so calm. He's like, yeah, I had time before work. I was sitting in my car. It's like, we've all been there. But how do you go from that to, and then I literally fucked everything up. Like, I'm not saying it's a fuck up to have the kid not go to the school. That's a conversation. But it's like, you took such a drastic action.
He does not trust Marge to make the right choice. And that is what drove him to do that. I'm not saying it was right. It was wrong.
It was wrong.
But they don't align on some deep values, you know, like as we saw in their political aspects. And their dog aspects, and their who should drive where aspects, and how a grandma, or AKA Lois, should act aspects. Lois. They don't agree on anything.
So that's just a hard way to be, I guess.
It is. It creates an impossible situation. Because they like to throw their head back and laugh, and like, you know, in the B-roll, they do have a good time.
They do.
They're one of those couples, they have love, but they don't have like. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They have love.
But they don't have like.
They don't like each other.
I think that's, well, I don't know if that's the case for any of the others, but yes, that's the case for a lot of people, I think.
I've had that. I'm actively making sure it doesn't happen to me this time, because we have a lot of love and we really like each other and we die laughing. But I'm obsessed and kind of addicted because of things that I grew up around. I grew up in a long history of people who have love, but not so much like.
Interesting.
A lot of women, you know, you go to like a baby shower or something and all the women are like rolling their eyes about their husband. I don't want to do that. So I'm kind of obsessed with it not happening to me. So I make sure, I'm a little, it's a trigger for me. And I want to just make sure that we like go out together as friends with friends. If he's talking, I hear him talk to other people and can just listen and not have to like control and manage. I just grew up around a lot of that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Controlling and managing the person you're with when you're in public, absolute fucking nightmare.
I can't.
Worst case scenario. I've been there so many. The fact that I know, like literally, I'm like, if someone doesn't like Eli, something's wrong with them to me.
Yeah.
So if someone has a problem with him, with him, that's shocking to me. The
Yes.
biggest relief of all time. Like, let's just go. I know you're not going to say the weird, wrong thing. I've been in relationships with guys who like get in fights, and it's like we're going to a barbecue and now there's a fight, and I'm just sitting there, so awkward.
Right,
like, I'm
and
like,
you can have like deep intimacy with that kind of guy.
Yes,
but you can't have like a life out in the world with them that's relaxing and that you don't have to be on edge. And like with Devin, I don't have that at all, but I'm obsessed with making sure that it never happens because I just saw it a lot. I don't know if it's cultural. I don't know if it's part of heteronormativity or everything, all the above. I think
it is, yeah.
But it's this thing where the wife is like rolling her eyes all the time. Like, you know, I don't know. I left him home with the kids. Who knows if they'll even have
who knows if they'll even make it.
If they've even showered today. Yeah. Like, I'm not doing that.
No, that's
so
horrible.
I'm like really, that's like one of my things. I'm like really dead set on being like, let's go out and just let me watch you talk to your friends.
Let's see how this goes. Yeah.
I just want to hear and be with you in the world. Like, I think a lot of love can be there with a lot of people, especially, I don't know. I find that like deep intimacy is actually something a lot of people can kind of achieve if you're like staring in each other's eyes all the time. But it's like, can you do life together?
Can you do life together?
You know what I mean?
100%.
The little things add up. Because the deep
things.
thing doesn't take you, it can't take you forever. You at some point you have to just like each other.
Yeah.
Like when you're older and stuff.
Well, I think my parents have been together forever, and I think they really like each other in the little things.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing to grow up seeing.
I think they like definitely got in a lot of crazy fights and stuff, but I think they have the same interests, and I think they really like each other as people. They like talking to each other. They like watching the same stuff. They like doing the same kind of trips, and they just hang out and they're happy.
I love that. I have that, and I want to make sure I keep it. And
they also spend a lot of time apart.
Yeah,
just saying.
That's huge. Devin and I met on a first date. Did you guys meet on a first date?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like it was romantic on the first. Like he asked me out in person, but it was like, can I take you to dinner? And then we met for the first time talking, and it was a dinner.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is we weren't friends. We didn't have mutual friends.
Same
like,
with Eli.
Right. So like when you meet someone and it's a romantic thing, it's not like you were friends for years or coworkers. You like see how they are.
Yeah.
So it's a little different.
Yeah. You have to see what they're going to be like.
Yeah.
And how they're going to interact.
Outside of being physically attracted to each other and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Which is like kind of the least important thing.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day. I mean, it needs to be there, but okay. So episode 6, Chris and Sienna, this is where my rage is going to be difficult to contain behind the mic.
Go ahead, because I was so sad watching this. I like to watch episodes twice so that I really like get it. I couldn't watch this part a second time.
Really?
It's too fucked up.
Well,
his story?
Okay, but this is what I'll say. I know his story is so fucked up.
I've never heard anything worse.
I know his story is so fucked up.
Okay.
A lot of people have really fucked up stories. What bothers me about Chris is that he really enjoys shocking people with his fucked up story. And I know that's a trauma response, but that's not conducive to connecting with your partner, to just keep being like, and it gets worse and it gets worse. And I'm sorry. There is a little bit of a glint in his eye when he's like, yeah, it's really fucked up and it gets worse. Like, he's getting something out of just being like, look how bad my life was. Look how bad my life was. So in this moment, he's sharing about this fucked up stuff that happened with his family. And then I wrote, he reminds me of guys from AA. There's a lot of guys in AA, in Alcoholics Anonymous, who are like that, who get off on like trauma dumping to you, and it's like, look how fucked up my shit was, and it's like, okay, I'm really sorry. Like, what are you gonna do about that now so that you can become like a working person in society? Not a working person, but like a functional person in society, and so that you're not harming people. And like, I feel like Chris being this type of guy that's like, I'm just so fucked up, you shouldn't even be with me. How about Chris, you shouldn't be with other people until you can work this out and not just think like, I suck and I'm a fucked up person. I've been through fucked up shit and fucked up shit and fucked up shit. It's like, that's not like, at a certain point, you're an adult in the world. Okay. So he's telling this crazy thing, and he's like, he goes, I was fucking admitted on a 5150. So AA guy thing to say. Sorry. Whatever. Then he's like, this is a good session. And I'm like, yeah, because you're getting all your shit out. And then Orna asks Sienna how she is feeling listening to all of this. And the second Sienna starts sharing her feelings, talking, Chris starts lying down in her total attention grab. Maybe he didn't mean it as an attention grabbing thing. I know it's like when you have trauma or you have some sort of disorder or any kind of thing that prevents you from connecting with other people, a lot of times your behavior is not intentional. I'm not saying he was intending to take the attention away, but Sienna's trying to open up and he suddenly lays down in her lap like a child and starts crying. And then all the attention is back on him and she's comforting him and like petting his head. And I'm like, so she got zero space in that.
Right.
She got zero space. And then he does that for long enough. And then he goes, all right, I'm ready. And sits up. Like, I just get this vibe from him where he's like, trauma dump, awful, awful, awful. Okay, I'm ready. I'm done. I got that off my chest.
Well, girl, guess what? He is his mother's son. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, as far as you run and hide from it, you're still your parents' kid. So you talk all about the things they do, but you have parts of them in you.
Yes.
And he, as much as I am personally, when I hear this story, I literally was like, I never heard anything so horrible. And I was like, really my heart was like hurting. But because I'm an empath, imagine.
You're an empath
when people say that?
I'm angry.
No, I get it. I just was like, wow, this is the darkest thing ever. But you're right. There was no room for her. And he's still his mother's son. Like, he's going to take up all this air in the room.
He took up all the air. And it's also like staying in the trauma. Like, that's what his mom was doing with like repeatedly just drinking and talking about how bad it was that she lost her husband and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, that is bad. That's horrible. And people need their space to recover. But if you're going to be in relation to other people, you also have to be accountable to your behavior.
Yes.
And like, in a way, I feel like he evades accountability by like being like, I'm a baby crying in the lap.
Totally. Like, I really want to know why he got the 5150. Like, I want to know what went down.
Right.
Right.
And which also,
maybe we'll find out later.
Also, yeah, that's the other thing is like, okay, so you're saying something really intense right now, just so you know. Like, that's
like his mom. He's just flippantly saying something, and that's the scariest
that sticks
thing
with
you've
people.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, whoa, okay. Like,
yeah. And it's not funny. It's not small. It's like, this is intense. Yeah.
Yes.
And he kind of is saying it in a way that's like flippant. And
yeah,
that's
like,
dark.
I got fucking 5150, man. And it's like,
that's
okay,
his mom.
Do you think we're going to think you're cool for that?
Yeah.
Like,
that's him acting like his mom.
Yeah.
Okay. There's something that was brought up, which I guess could be my wow, because we have 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I want to tie it back into this real quick. So, okay. There was someone in the group, you know, when Orna goes with all the people, all the other when they basically gossip. The ambiguous loss.
I've never heard of it. Blew my mind.
Opened me up. I had an amazing conversation with my boyfriend after it. The ambiguous loss is a loss where the person is there but not there. An example would be a parent having a stroke. They're still alive, but they're not the same person anymore. This is what happened to Chris, right? So the ambiguous loss of Sienna literally going to work, okay? Going to work, very minimal thing. But going to grad school or going to work, leaving the house basically, triggered his ambiguous loss to pay for cuddling. And then Orna goes, and that's when he paid for cuddling. And everyone goes, yeah, like
because,
that.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
It's also like, it's like her going to grad school and work is something you can't really complain about because people will be like, well, yeah, she's going to grad school and work. And similarly, I think I can't imagine, but it's like, I think if you're like, well, my dad didn't die, so you feel like you can't really complain about it. Like, when people feel like they have to justify their pain, that's a really painful thing of like, well, he didn't, or like, well, they survived, and it's like, no, but that still was fucking awful. So I think that was a really interesting point to bring up.
The ambiguous loss, basically, that you feel as a kid, which everyone has some, I guess. And then that thing triggers later, sort of like him to act out when he felt he had another ambiguous loss. Like, that was some deep shit.
Wild.
That was my wow.
That's a great wow. Okay, so my wow, let me pull it up, was, wait, that's not it. Wait a second, that's not it. Episode 5. Oh, okay. So Nessa is complaining because Drea is in a bad mood. It's like they show them in the waiting room and you can sense that Drea is just like pissed off kind of. And Nessa starts immediately complaining in the session like Drea's in a bad mood and it's just really annoying that she's in a bad mood, or it's just really frustrating that she's in a bad mood. And like, it makes me feel like I have to fix everything and that's annoying to have to deal with. And Orna says, you're not saying something about Drea, you're saying something about you.
Wow.
That was a wow for me because I struggle as someone who grew up with addiction in the home that nobody was talking about, mood swings, mental illness, and me constantly wanting to fix people's moods, make everyone happy again, make sure everyone's okay. Are you okay? Are you okay? And that translates into my relationships, me being super codependent. And like, if someone's in a bad mood, I immediately feel like it's my responsibility. And I relate to Nessa where sometimes I'll literally be like, great, now I have to fix your mood. Great. I did not have it on my agenda that I was going to have to fix your mood.
Yeah.
And in reality, that's my problem. That's nothing. Their mood is not the problem. The fact that I can't manage to just sit through someone else's bad mood is the problem. Like, my reaction is the problem. It's okay to be in a bad mood. It's okay to be pissed off. It's okay to be annoyed. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to not want to talk right now. It's okay to like have a bad night and whatever, like not sleep well. And I literally, it's like if Eli's like, oh, I didn't sleep well last night, I'm like, like what?
I know. I know.
That's my problem. Not anything to do with him. I'll be like, well, are you going to start taking sleep pills? Like, are you going to do something? And it's like, he doesn't have to, like, no one has to do anything about that.
Yeah, it's like the desire to fix it.
So Nessa has that desire, and I was wowed by the way Orna called that out.
Yeah, she knows her ass. She sees it. She knows. We'll give it to Orna this week. She got into the backstories of each person.
With Orna this week, we'll say yes and no, like Jelly with the Discord. Yes and no.
Yes and no.
There was yeses, there was nos.
You were right about some things and you were wrong about others.
And that's the human condition.
Leash your dog.
Leash your dog.
Unleash your anger.
Unleash your anger.
Don't leash your anger.
Don't leash your anger. I thought she was telling Drea to feel the anger. She was saying it's positive. No, she was telling Nessa, you need to feel your anger because Drea feels her anger and that's positive and you shouldn't internalize your anger. Then she's saying people need to leash their anger. You don't make sense.
You don't make sense. And last but not least, a baby crying is not noise pollution.
A baby crying is a human being, started with Jesus day one.
No, and the Lord and Savior. Clip.
Bye.
Bye. Wow.